The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the massive blast doors groaned open, revealing the shadows beyond. Ambassador Zexathon's 4 eyes dilated with anticipation as he watched the darkness, waiting for their ultimate weapon to emerge. Around the circular chamber, representatives from dozens of species shifted nervously in their biopods, some secreting stress pheromones that made the air thick with tension. "Honored delegates," Zexthon announced, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of warfare, "witness the end of human expansion. Behold, the devourer of worlds." The creature that emerged from the containment bay defied description by most galactic standards. It stood 12 feet tall at the shoulder, its obsidian hide rippling with bioengineered muscles. 6 legs carried its serpentine body forward with predatory grace, while twin tails lashed behind it, each tipped with plasma-generating organs. Its elongated head housed rows of crystalline teeth capable of shearing through starship hulls, and its eyes, all 8 of them, glowed with an intelligence both ancient and utterly alien. The human delegation, consisting of only 3 individuals, remained seated calmly in their simple chairs. No biopods, no environmental suits, no visible weapons. Just 3 humans in their standard diplomatic attire, watching the proceedings, with what appeared to be mild interest. Captain Sarah Chen, the human ambassador, barely glanced up from her tablet as the devourer prowled into the chamber. Her aide, Lieutenant Torres, continued taking notes, while their xenobiologist, Dr. Patel, actually looked pleased. "This is your final warning, humans," Zexthon declared, his translator struggling to convey his species' concept of righteous fury. "Withdraw from the disputed sectors, abandon your colonial expansion and submit to council authority, or face the consequences of defying powers beyond your comprehension." The devourer let out a sound that was part roar, part psychic scream, and part dimensional rift opening. The chamber's acoustic dampeners overloaded and several delegates collapsed from the sonic assault. When the sound faded, Ambassador Chen finally looked up. "Oh," she said, her voice carrying easily through the stunned silence. "You got a dog." Zexthon's translator must have malfunctioned, because it simply repeated the word dog in confused tones. "A big dog," Chen continued, standing slowly. She set down her tablet and walked toward the devourer with the casual confidence of someone approaching a park bench. "Look at you, big guy. You're just a scaled-up version of man's best friend, aren't you?" The devourer's 8 eyes focused on her with laser precision. Its jaw opened, revealing teeth that could bite through a moon. Bioluminescent threat displays rippled across its hide as it prepared to demonstrate why entire star systems had been evacuated, rather than face it in battle. "Good boy," Chen said warmly, extending her hand palm up. "Who's a good boy?" The devourer paused, its massive head tilted slightly, confusion replacing predatory focus. One of its tails stopped lashing and began a tentative wag. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shrieked in their various languages as they realized the human was not only still alive but appeared to be communicating with their ultimate weapon. Zexthon's mandibles clicked frantically as he tried to understand what was happening. "Sit," Chen commanded, her voice taking on the firm but patient tone that humans had perfected over millennia of domestication. The devourer of worlds sat. Its massive haunches hit the chamber floor with a thud that registered on seismic monitors 3 levels down. The creature that had laid waste to the Andromedian fleet, that had consumed the living planet of Veltar, that had sent the warrior race of Keth running for their lives, sat like an obedient pet waiting for a treat. Dr. Patel leaned over to Lieutenant Torres. "Definitely canid DNA in the base structure," he whispered excitedly. "Probably wolf stock, enhanced with some kind of dimensional predator genetics. But the pack bonding instincts are still there." "You're a very good boy," Chen continued, reaching out to scratch behind what might have been the creature's ear. The devourer leaned into the touch, its eyes closing in apparent bliss. "Yes, you are. Who's been a very good boy?" A sound emerged from the devourer's throat, part purr, part dimensional distortion, but unmistakably the sound of a creature experiencing joy. Its tail, the same appendage that had shattered a battlecruiser just 2 months ago, wagged with increasing enthusiasm. Zexthon found his voice. "This is impossible. The Devourer is a bioengineered killing machine. It knows only destruction and hunger." "Well, there's your problem right there," Chen said, not looking away from the creature as she continued her scratching. "You built a weapon, but what you really made was a very lonely dog. Didn't you, boy? Didn't anyone ever tell you that you were good?" The Devourer's response was to roll onto its back, exposing its armored belly in the universal gesture of submission and trust. Captain Chen obligingly began giving it belly rubs. The silence in the chamber was profound. Representatives of civilizations that had existed when Earth was still forming primordial soup watched a human reduce their ultimate weapon to a pet-seeking affection. "How?" Zexthon whispered. Chen looked up from where she was now vigorously scratching the Devourer's belly, causing one of its rear legs to kick in apparent ecstasy. "How what? Oh, you mean, how did we know what to do?" She shrugged. "We've been doing this for about 15,000 years. Dogs, cats, horses, dolphins, elephants. If it's got even rudimentary social intelligence, we can probably make friends with it. It's kind of our thing. But the Devourer has consumed entire worlds." "Bad training," Dr. Patel interjected, finally, looking up from his notes. "Classic case of inadequate socialization and positive reinforcement. You probably kept it isolated and only rewarded aggressive behavior. It's a weapon of mass destruction." "It's a pack animal," Chen corrected gently, as the Devourer rolled back over and placed its massive head in her lap. "You just never taught it that it was part of a pack, or gave it anyone to bond with. That's basically psychological torture for a social species." Lieutenant Torres cleared his throat. "Captain, should I prepare the adoption papers?" "Adoption papers?" Several delegates screamed in unison. Chen looked thoughtful. He'd need a name first, can't adopt something without a proper name. She looked down at the creature, whose 8 eyes were gazing at her with unmistakable adoration. "How about Rex? You look like a Rex." Rex's tail began wagging so hard it created small sonic booms. "The Council will never allow this," Zexthon declared. "Allow what?" Chen asked innocently. "You unleashed your weapon just like you said you would. It's not our fault your weapon decided it likes us better than you." She stood, and Rex immediately sat to attention, looking at her expectantly. "Good boy, Rex. Want to come home with us? Want to see Earth? We've got lots of other dogs there, and humans who will tell you you're a good boy every single day." The sound Rex made in response could only be described as intergalactic joy. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Rex trotting obediently beside them, Zexthon made one last desperate attempt. "You cannot simply walk away with our bioweapon. The Council spent centuries developing the Devourer." Captain Chen paused at the chamber entrance and turned back with a smile that was both kind and absolutely terrifying. "Ambassador Zexthon, let me explain something about humanity. We've turned wolves into chihuahuas and we've made whales perform for fish. We've convinced cats that they're our equals, and we've taught birds to speak our languages." Her smile widened. "If you want to threaten us, you probably shouldn't do it with anything that can learn to love us back." As the blast doors closed, behind them the last thing the Council heard was Captain Chen's voice, bright and cheerful. "Come on, Rex. Let's go find you a tennis ball." And so the Council learned a fundamental truth about humanity. They didn't conquer through superior firepower or advanced technology. They conquered through the simple, devastating power of making friends with everything they met, even the monsters.